Okay, here we go again. Are you ready for this shit? We ready? We good? Alright, let's go. Hey everybody, my name is Evan, and once again we are back here with The Den, and I'm kicking off your week's round of videos, so it's... no. So I'm here kicking off this week's round of videos, and this week it is Q&A week, once again. That's right, we asked you guys to submit us some questions, and we are going to answer them, because that's how Q&A works. So thank you to those of you who did submit questions. Not a lot of you did, because you suck. But those of you who did submit questions, or those of you who provided me questions when I texted you begging me for them, thank you. Otherwise, fuck you. Okay, so honestly, I'm pretty fucking exhausted. I'm kind of sick, and I'm not going to be doing as many questions as I probably should, but oh well, suck my dick, I don't care. Alright, so question number 1 comes from my friend Mikey Benford, and... no. Alright, so question number 1 comes from my friend Mikey. Mikey asks me, what is a total deal breaker on a first date? Now, there's a couple things that you can do that are some really bad red flags for me. Things like not dressing nicely because, I feel like you should put in a little bit of effort. Things like... So there's a couple different things that throw up some red flags for me, but nothing is as big of a deal breaker, buzzkill on a date as indecisiveness for me. Being able to make decisions shows confidence. So when I ask you, hey, where do you want to eat? And you say, I don't care, wherever you want to eat. That's weak. I'm sorry. That's weak. It's a turnoff. It shows that you're more concerned about making sure that I am happy than even getting what you want, which shows that, you're more of a subservient type of personality, which, not that we're getting into the dominant submissive thing, but you're looking at somebody who's just not really capable of just being handed a decision and just making a judgment call just because. So, biggest turnoff. Not being able to answer, or that. So, biggest turnoff on a date, not being able to make a decision. Number 2, I'm going to kind of tackle 2 questions at once because they're pretty similar here. So for question number 2, I'm going to take 2 at once because they're kind of the same thing. It is, have you ever had a crush on a straight guy, and who was your first crush? My first crush was a straight guy. Hooray! Yeah, his name was Zach Noble, and we went to high school together. He was the center of the football team, 6'1", 250, blonde, and gorgeous. Yeah, and kind of a total douche to me for a large chunk of the time that we were friends. Anyway, yeah, I was totally into this guy, 100% unrequited, because obviously he was very straight, and nothing was ever going to happen. That's just how it goes. Everybody's been there. It sucks. Question number 3 is, how do you handle the caravan? Now, let me do some elaborating here. As a chaser in a community, you deal with this thing that it's referred to as the caravan, the chaser train, the thirsty bitches, whatever you want to call it. It's a group of people who are purely trying to befriend you based on how you look, and they will stand around you and gawk, and they will all vie for your attention, and everyone will try to compete. You've probably seen it if you've ever been to a bear event where you see one little dude and there's a whole bunch of people standing around him, and they're all looking at him and trying to, have their own individual conversation with him at the same time. It sucks. All these people pining after you, and you can't possibly give all of them the attention that they want, and you're just not into all of them because that's just how life works. So how do you let these poor saps down easy? I usually like to just play, the kind of flirty, hard to get angle, like I, say some nice things, and Maybe I'll dance with them, let them buy me a drink, flirt with them a little bit, whatever, smile, laugh, haha, and then when they try to ask me for my number, whatever, I'll just say something like, "Oh, it's not going to be that easy," and then I'll make my exit slowly after that. I don't like to just outright reject people. That's not nice. It's not fun, but sometimes you have to when the situation calls for it. Some people just need that extra to get it. So that kind of leads me into the next question, fourth one, I think it is. I can't remember anymore. Came from my friend Ty. Ty wants to know what the upsides and the downsides are of being a chaser. Moreover, Ty wants to know what my upsides and downsides are because Ty is also a chaser and he's just curious. The upsides of being a chaser, there's a ton of them, actually. For starters, this is going to sound so douchey, but it's true. I pretty much get my pick when it comes to guys. The chaser to bear ratio is extremely skewed, as all of you may know. So sometimes it's almost presented to me as all these guys line up, and I just pick the ones that I like, and we go from there. It's a little sad. It's very conceited of me, but that's what happens. You watch the Caravan line up, and you just pick the best one. That's how it goes. And they totally let you get away with it. It's terrible. You should not, bears, you should not let chasers get away with that sort of shit. You shouldn't make it this easy for us. Don't throw yourselves at people. But it also makes it very fun at a bear event. Everybody wants to know you. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants to spend time with you. You get to feel like Mr. Popular for an entire chunk of time. It's great. Now, some of the drawbacks. The Caravan is also full of sexual objectification, which personally I find really irritating. I am a lot more than just these fantastic good looks, and people fucking should recognize that shit. I also greatly dislike the misinterpretation that comes with me saying that I am a chaser. Just because I am attracted to larger men does not mean that is universally applicable, and just because you are a large person means I want to bang you. That's not how life works. Don't get mad at me when I'm not interested just because you're over 300 pounds. That's not even close to how it works. Get your head out of your ass. Also, just saying, from a perspective within the gay community, being a chaser is pretty sweet. But when you look at it in the mainstream community, I am a complete outlier when it comes to all of my friends. Not that they don't understand it or that they're weirded out by it or anything, but it's totally different from anything that they've encountered before. Have you ever, checked somebody out and had somebody be like, "Oh, really? Really? Him? That guy?" Because it's awkward. And if you think coming out of the closet and saying that you like guys is hard, try coming out of the closet and saying you like fat guys, because that goes over so much better. Try having that I'm a chaser conversation with your mother. It's awkward. It's always awkward. So I would say the largest drawback to being a chaser is mainstream society's view of you. Because it's fucking weird and they don't get it. Alright, moving on. This question comes from Brad. Again, he asked me, do I believe in aliens? I guess so. I mean, how could you not? I'm not like a super conspiracy theorist about aliens. I don't, read up on all these signs and sightings and all that stuff. I've seen some shit on the internet that I just stumbled upon that, seems like pretty convincing evidence, but you could also poke a bunch of holes in that theory. Anyway, whenever it comes to the question of do aliens exist, I always respond with the same question. What's scarier? The idea that there is life out there, or the idea that there isn't, and human beings are the only sentient creatures in existence of everything. That's fucking scary. Because we're fucked up. Also, I got that one from Calvin and Hobbes, and I kind of need to give a nod to those guys for that. And so, I guess that's a fair number of questions, mainly because I don't want to do anymore, and that's it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stick around, come back tomorrow, check out Will's questions, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you check us out, Men of the Den, yada, yada. You know where it is by now. I've said it however many times. Just do it. Just go and like us. Do the little click to get notifications thingy on our Facebook.